Good morning. It's 9:11 a.m. on a Sunday morning. It's your choice, your voice, your man, Manuel. Yesterday, as you all know, hundreds of thousands, maybe a million children, a million young people marched all across the country. And as they marched across the country, your president ran away to Florida. Now, the marchers originated in Florida in response to the February 14th Valentine's Day massacre of 17 people at Parkland High School in Florida. So your president and everyone got out of Washington. Now, the NRA's response to this, because the march pretty much has been against the NRA and irresponsible gun ownership and usage and the misinterpretation of the Second Amendment, the NRA's response has been to mock the marchers. They have been acting like children. Instead of responding the way adults should have, and an organization like them should have, in lieu of the circumstances of yesterday's march, instead of being humble and showing some humility, they decided to act like children and make fun of and mock the children marching, some of whom you know have suffered at the hands of gun violence. So remember, you are NRA members, you're mocking children. So of course, the children, some will respond in kind. Now, some would argue that these children have been acting more like adults than the adults have. And you know what? You would be right to say that. They certainly have organized since Valentine's Day in a way in which many adults haven't been able to do. And they've done it in stealth-like fashion, using social media, because that's what they're good at. This is the tools they've come up with. So they're doing a damn good job, and it's scaring people. So the NRA is the first line or the last line, depending upon how you look at it, of defense for the GOP and the establishment, who wants you to believe they're not the establishment because they're not the majority. Well, that's why they're the establishment. They represent the establishment. Let's be clear. And it's always been this way since the House of Lords and Commons in England, where we got our government from, the House and the Senate. The Republican Party has always been, in my lifetime, in my generation, the party for the wealthy, the party for the 1%. And because there are less of them and more of everyone else, they play differently. They change the rules if they have to make sure they can continually stay in power. Hence all this gerrymandering of congressional maps, for instance, which we're dealing with here in Pennsylvania right now. So wrapping up and saying all this to say that the NRA responding like children to children, and even though the children have been acting more like adults than the adults have, they're going to respond in kind like children. And of course, the NRA will go back and forth with these kids, which, when you think about it, adults acting like children and not being able to show responsibility around an issue that's been killing so many of them is why the children have been forced to act like the adults and be the adults in the first place. This is something to think about. America, what can I tell you? Your choice, your voice, your man, WRNB 100.3 from Philadelphia, the birthplace of America. If Philadelphia, let me tell you something about Philadelphia. If America has a birth certificate, it's in Philadelphia. Peace.